Do you remember the period in history, approximately 14th century, when the Black Plague was raving in bubonic plague? Yes. Then during that period, according to some calculations, about 60 million people died. Yes. In fact, it's more than during any kind of war. Yeah, Europe was swept off of its feet. There was Europe as well, China, a lot, up to half of some countries, countries' population of many countries. Yes. Besides, many people died very fast, almost instantly, without any options. The only way to fight it was the isolation. Now, to scare people with death, epidemics, with other things, is much more difficult. And they say that at those times, many people were dying in general. So, what's your question? The question is why? What's the qualitative difference of those sufferings from current sufferings? Current sufferings, they are practically regulated by humans. We've entered the phase in our development when we can regulate everything. And sufferings, and joys, and evolving of progress and regression, whatever you want. There is a goal that is given by the nature to bring us to absolute perfection, meaning to a complete bestowal and love between each other, whether we want it or not. And we are going to act that way. Meaning our freedom of choice, which path to take, but still to execute that program. So, if we behave properly, then the program relates to us in a nice way. We execute it and thus advance toward the goal. If we don't want to advance toward that goal by any means, not in any of its formats or planes. First, this part of general plane may be to complete, then the other, or if from our part there are no premises to move in the direction of realization, agreement, and implementing the ideas of the nature, the plan of the nature, the goal of the nature. Then the plan is implemented by the nature, and it does so despite our desires. Then it feels like huge sufferings. These are the actions of people relative to the natural plan of development. Though we don't understand it, we don't know it, I'm talking from the side of humanity, not of Kabbalists. That's on one hand. On the other hand, the humanity views its development completely different than it is ordered by the nature. Egoistic development, in fact, hideous development, not clear what kind, nobody has a plan. If in past we were making plans for the next 50, 30 years, 5 years, and so on, today nobody builds any plans. What's important today is to live the current moment. And that's all. And further, whatever the curvy path takes us. Thus, if we look at things from the perspective of elite, or that narrow circle of people which sort of rule the world, as they think they do, but nevertheless they enforce, according to their actions, the nature to act one way or the other, then it turns out that from the point of view of topmost elite, there is no point today in having such large population. If there was black variole or something else came today, that'd be good. But today there are limits and possibilities to all that. Therefore, they must do something different. Like, for instance, if we shatter a family institution now, quietly and calmly, without any problems, diseases, deaths, none of that, and people seriously begin to consider rejecting the idea of family, marriage, and having children, then even within a time span of one generation, we'll reduce population twofold, presumably speaking. Then within the next generation, twofold lesser again. So within only 100 years, we can be reduced from 7 billion to 2 billion. The generation considered to be within only 25 years only. So imagine if two don't have a child and two die, even if two give birth to one, then the reduction is doubled. And if they don't give birth at all, then the reduction is equals to 100% or 50%. So all these things that by order executed from up top come down to us from mass media, psychologists, ideologists, different types of projects of plan to reduce the population. They all have been around for quite a while now. There is no need for any war. Absolutely, they won't give any result. You're right. So what's so special about World War II? Let's say it's like a drop in the ocean. If there was the same rate of birth like in the past, then we would within those 5 years of war, or 8 years, from 1937 to 1945, right? And here, bam, within the same time span, we get the same result, joyfully. And this way, no, the development of mass media, internet, family problems, praising homosexuality, encouragement to use drugs, encouragement to divorce. Basically, everything is put to work in order to simply to divorce destroy the essence, the institution of the family. And this way we resolve all the problems. Who is going to be left? People. Who? Those who will be left. Then take care of the rest. There are other plans exist. For Africa, for Asia, separately for Latin America, Oceania, and so on. Indonesia, and so on. Millions, nevertheless. Hundreds of millions of people. All that is taken into account. Special programs are created, and it's understandable. It's painless. We could say it's with love toward humanity, yes. Because otherwise we won't survive on this planet. Why? Because people eat each other, consume the planet, destroy the whole balance, which already doesn't exist, really. In order to feed the earth egoistically, this planet is not enough. Make your estimations. You'll get 14 square meters per person. If you take mountains, areas, forests, oceans, seas, forests, pastures, and so on, there's no... well, for cities, of course, there is plenty of land. We can build many more cities. But it's not rational. It completely depletes the earth. That's it. We've sucked out everything from it only within 50 years. So we have a very serious problem in our hands, and that's how it is solved. And I can't say that such solution is not humane. It's humane. We reduce the population to the rational level. The egoists that think rationally and sensibly, they solve this problem. And how else would you solve it? Huge number of people, unemployed masses, which it's like with bees. There are drones, there are working and non-working. Well, it's clear that to us there's a purpose for each group, but with us it's different. You see, let's presume, comparing to the beginning of the 20th centuries, when indeed we had industry, economy, finances, necessary developments. And then everything was all right. And then we've created a huge number of unnecessary professions. Unnecessary. Managers, lawyers, all kinds of economists, sociologists, politics scientists, and so on. Besides, all cities. Take one, for example, one city, and take a look who lives there. You'll see there is a population where people serve only each other and nothing else. And with modern technologies, which we can implement now, when everything is done by robotics, there is no need for anyone anymore. We'll have 1 billion people left, and that is too much. What for? 300 million, 400 million. Why do we need these huge masses? Which consumes completely this whole natural infrastructure. Fly from one side of Earth to other, back and forth. Always demand vacations, work on unnecessary jobs besides around the clock. Drove themselves into such conditions. And they don't do anything else. They've created artificial values for themselves around which they all revolve. Meaning all this mass media, all that is enormous theater of absurd, Vanity Fair. That's all. It needs to end. The Mother Earth can't handle it anymore. And elite's reasonings are correct. They are very serious and very good. Egoistically, they are perfect. But we propose a different path. We say that under conditions of proper relationships between people, proper interconnections, there is no need in destroying anybody. We can come to such dynamic equilibrium with the nature, absolute equilibrium, when everyone feels splendid. And there won't be any, not only conflicts, but even more. We will rise to a new dimension, new level, completely different realm, which is called the upper world. They only think how to bring the world to some kind of balance, which how to put it, in the corporeal sense, in energy, in information, and all that, and therefore they think to what optimal level they need to reduce the population so that it would exist in such optimal egoistic union between themselves and surrounding nature. Meaning ecologically balanced population, and so on. And we say that in any case you will not achieve that because you don't take into an account the plan of the nature. The nature has its own plan. You penetrate this egoistically natural evolution of a human, and you think to adjust it somehow, you won't succeed. You need to know the nature's plan. It's all planned. Everything is determined. Everything exists by very clear laws under pressure of a certain conditions, laws, constants, and so on. If you get to know the plan of the nature, you will understand that humanity needs to come to adhesion with the nature. And the adhesion is achieved by absolute mutual addition, complementation. And not egoistically, above egoistical. This is where we need to depart. And we cannot escape it. You don't solve anything by doing that. You think with your egoistically limited perspective to the world that you will solve it, but that's not a solution. Please, already with your already existing implementations which have been already put to work and long ago for years, you've been pushing this project to life, of annulling the institution of marriage, of all kinds of gender issues, of promoting different on different unnatural bindings, homosexual, and the rest. That's your business. But hear out what I have to tell you. What Kabbalists have to tell you. What Kabbalah has to tell you. Because the problem nevertheless needs to be solved globally. Why? Not because you will waste your efforts and then you will see. No, because your plan will not work if you don't act according to the nature. You won't succeed. You will have to do something else. You will end up with different results. You will not be able so simply reduce population from, let's say, 7 billion to 2 billion, or even half a billion optimally, as we could say, can be sustained by the Earth, not to break its ecological balance. You won't succeed, even at that. Though it seems to be clever, I understand you very well, meaning if I didn't have a knowledge of higher law of nature, of its implementation, of its scheme, structure, and so on, I would be with you on it. I would be completely ready to sign off on it. I'd be in solidarity with you, but it won't work. And therefore, your plans will not succeed. You will hit such in fact, problems in your implementations, which will basically will bring to even much bigger problems, because you go against the laws of nature. Not because you're reducing the population, but because you are simply going in the wrong direction, not by summing people up, not by uniting them, not by turning them into one solid unit like our single harmonious integral nature. That's what I wanted to tell to elite and to people in general. There is nothing horrific in what's happening, but it's irrational. You won't succeed. There are laws which you need to take into account, nevertheless, but we don't know them. But if they build such system themselves, that's going to affect their own children also. They create the public opinion. They create for themselves a different world, and they do everything precise in thought out fashion. There is nothing even to say about this program of reduction of population. It's completely correct. I completely agree with it, and it is done from the point of proper relation toward humans, proper relations toward humans and humanity. And many realize what's happening in front of their eyes. You can read articles about it here and there and so on. People understand that all that is direct action from the higher circles of people, which do it this way. You can pin the Arab Spring to it, as well as other problems, these and those, Ahmadinejad, and or how is it, the Colombians, everything you want. Everything fits in perfectly. All that is done through enormous mechanism, which takes part in designing it, making decisions on it, in implementing it of this problem and its implementation, how we're going to do this and that and so on. But how do they protect themselves from that not hitting them back? Well, what they need to be protected from? Well, they create a public opinion, right, which begins to act in the whole world. It's not the right format for such talk. Because if you think of small scales of that problem, for instance, why they allow immigration to Europe, why they do whatever else they do, it all only seems to us there are huge, more internal problems and understandings of different various flows of development in this world, of developments in this world. These are different scales. And why do we need to talk about it? I was simply to say that there is no need for a black plague. That's where we started. Why? Here, just understand one thing. Now, I recently was in Europe a few times in different places. People don't want to start family. They don't want to get married. They don't want to give birth. And if they decide to have a child, that's already like wow. And let's say from potential couples only have give birth to one child. So you understand that half simply dies, they're gone. So from 7 billion, 3.5 are gone, and from other half, of course, I exaggerate because there are countries where people give birth to many children, and from other half, only half of that will remain. So we get 1.75 billion people, and that's all. So you see, only within one generation, only within 20, 30 years, already out of 7 billion, you only have 1.75 billion left, and few more generations, and everything is peachy, calm and quiet on Earth, if everything went the way they are planning. And along with reduction in population, with reduction of stomachs, reduction of unnecessary professions, everything calms down. There are less planes flying over our head. Who the hell needs it? Nobody. Less gases, exhausts, less of everything, and only necessary professions are left. Instead, robots are placed to work, and that's all. Everything is calm and normal. We all live calmly and quietly. Why do we need to find something else? Why? And we'll live quietly without nuclear energy even. We'll sustain ourselves. We'll survive, and we'll control in the future the birth rate and so on. Why does it has to be? First of all, why was there such a drastic leap? Because only within 100 years, billions of people were added. Because the productivity of labor has increased. So many people could be fed. Healthcare also, the prolonging life. Huh? Of course, lifespan has doubled. So you increase population already twice. The beginning of 20th centuries and the end of it. The lifespan has doubled. You see, it already as if instead of 3 billion you had 6. It seems to us to be an insignificant, minor thing, but numbers are scary. You see? Well, only within I have this graph in front of me. In 60s, there were 3 billion people. Yes. By the 1990, there was 1.6 billion more, and this exponential growth, huh? And in 2000, there were already 6 billion, and now it's 7.